Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching the political, there it is, political vigilante. We're in a temporary co-working space. I had to move the building I was in, or the unit I was in got sold, and my new place doesn't have internet yet. There's been a delay, so I just didn't want to not do any segments for you. So we're just in this co-working space. So thanks for bearing with us, but I wanted to talk about this in particular, this topic, because this means a lot to me. Joe Biden is talking about, there it is, he's talking about pulling out of Afghanistan by September 11th. This means a lot to me, and I'm going to tell my whole story after we watch this video, because I went there as a comedian several times. So let's listen to what Joe has to say.
I spoke yesterday with President Bush to inform him of my decision. While he and I have had many disagreements over policy throughout the years, we're absolutely united in our respect and support for the valor, courage, and integrity of the women and men of the United States Armed Forces who served. I'm immensely grateful for the bravery and backbone that they have shown through nearly 2 decades of combat deployments. We as a nation are forever indebted to them and to their families. You all know that less than 1% of Americans serve in our armed forces. The remaining 99% of them, we owe them. We owe them. They've never backed down from a single mission that we've asked of them. I've witnessed their bravery firsthand during my visits to Afghanistan. They've never wavered in their resolve. They've paid a tremendous price on our behalf. And they have the thanks of a grateful nation.
President Biden announced on Wednesday his decision to remove all American troops from Afghanistan by the 20th anniversary of the September 11th attacks this year. War in Afghanistan was never meant to be a multi-generational undertaking. We were attacked. We went to war with clear goals. We achieved those objectives. Biden said the process will begin before May 1st. And then this is from ABC. Biden said no one wants to say that we should be in Afghanistan forever, but they insist now is not the right moment to leave. When will it be the right moment to leave? 1 more year, 2 more years, 10 more years? That's how we got here. Let's listen to that.
No one wants to say that we should be in Afghanistan forever, but they insist now is not the right moment to leave. In 2014, NATO issued a declaration affirming that Afghan security forces would from that point on have full responsibility for this country's security by the end of that year. That was 7 years ago. So when will it be the right moment to leave? 1 more year? 2 more years? 10 more years? 10, 20, $30 billion more than the trillion we've already spent? Not now. That's how we got here.
I'll be real honest with you. Those words, if they were coming from somebody else, I'd be like, yeah, right on. This is real serious anti-war talk. I'm completely skeptical of Joe Biden saying this, because Joe Biden was vice president when they kept saying they're going to pull out 7 years ago. He was talking about when he was vice president with Obama, under Obama. So the language that he's saying, I like hearing that. We absolutely need to get out of Afghanistan. I've been talking about this. We've been there 20 years. We've been there 20 years. I keep saying, imagine if 20 years after Pearl Harbor, we were still fighting the Japanese in 1961. Imagine that. So, and why this is significant to me is, as a comedian, I went there in 04, 06, and 07. I went to Afghanistan to entertain the military. I actually have a documentary about it called Afghanistan Comedy Downrange, which is available on Rockfin. And I saw firsthand, I went to entertain the men and women of the U.S. military and coalition forces. I met some Romanian soldiers. I met Aussie soldiers. I met all different kinds of people. And I saw, like, as he said, the men and women who have served, like, hats off to them. They've done a fantastic job, considering they're fighting a war. Really, just initially it was like, okay, the Taliban was part of 9/11. Okay, I remember 20 years ago going, yeah, all right, makes sense. All right, we got to respond to 9/11. Of course, we didn't look at all of our history in the Middle East that helped create the situation. We just keep acting like we're just getting attacked out of nowhere, like we haven't done anything. So, and I think about the hundreds of thousands of Afghanis that have died, civilians, many of them, who weren't in the Taliban or not terrorists. Just, I mean, let us not forget that under Obama and Biden, 90% of the casualties from bombs dropped by Obama and Biden were unintended targets, which means civilians. So we need to remember that Joe Biden is part of the military-industrial complex. He just asked for a $753 billion military budget, which is an increase over Trump. And Trump got increases every year. Obama got increases every year. George Bush got increases every year. So we look at 9/11, and since then, we have spent trillions of dollars, much of it not necessary. Much of it could have gone for infrastructure. We could have free healthcare, free college, a thriving middle class, upward mobility, the actual American dream again. We could pay for reparations. We could, with American descendants of slavery, we could close all these loopholes with the Native American and indigenous communities that have been completely subjugated. We could do all these things with all of this trillions of dollars. We could have high-speed rail coast to coast. We could have the green energy being produced in America by Americans, getting good union wages. We could do all this with these trillions of dollars we've spent on this global war on terror. So we said we were going to be out. This is why I'm skeptical of what Joe Biden is saying, because the deal was, a year ago, we signed a deal saying, we're going to, in February of 2020, we signed a deal saying we were going to be out by May 1st of 2021. Well, that's in 2 weeks, and that's not happening. In fact, the peace talks, which I believe are in Istanbul, I'm not sure, but the peace talks between the Taliban and basically the West, the Taliban's like, well, we're not coming to the peace table because America said they're going to pull out May 1st, because they're like, we've heard this before. We've heard this before. It was under Obama. Obama ran on the campaign of pulling us out of Iraq and Afghanistan, and Obama did the surge in Afghanistan. He did the surge. So the military-industrial complex wants never-ending war. The lowest global spending on weapons, on war, the lowest, you want to know what year was the lowest? Take a guess. Did you guess year 2000? Weird, yes. The whole world. The Cold War had ended. The wall had come down. There was no need. There was all these nuclear disarmament deals all over the world. People were, we didn't need all this war. And then we had basically a Pearl Harbor style event in 9/11. And then since 9/11, in the last 20 years, we have spent trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. While America crumbles, while homelessness goes through the roof, while 60,000 people die every year because they don't have health insurance, while 22 vets a day commit suicide. 22 vets a day commit suicide. Much of that stems from PTSD from combat. And when you've got people going on 2, 3, and 4 deployments, and I was over there. I went to Afghanistan in 2004, 06, and 07. And I was in Iraq 07, 08, and 2011. And especially like in the, the latter 06 on, I met a lot of people who were like, this is my 3rd deployment. I'm like, really? Why'd you come back? They're like, I needed the money. I got a $20,000 re-enlistment bonus. I just did it for the money, man. I need a $20,000 re-enlistment bonus. There's no jobs back where they lived. because America's been decimated by neoliberal policies that have just gutted the working class. It's a big reason a lot of people voted for Trump in 2016, because Trump ran on an anti-interventionist campaign. Yes, he was racist. Yes, he said xenophobic crap. But he ran anti-interventionist. He said he was going to pull us out of these wars. Of course, he didn't. The war machine wouldn't let him. So America's addicted to war. So I mean, these are great words that Joe Biden's saying, but I'll believe it when I see it, because we're already not going to hit them. We signed a deal a year and a half ago, May 1st, and that's already not happening. We're already not honoring that deal. So we're going to move. We're going to be out by September. Then what's going to happen? Another event, well, not yet. Not yet. Joe Biden's own words, because we'll just play this tape from that clip in September when it's like, well, we're going to keep the troops in there just till Christmas. We're going to just do this every 3 months. We're going to just by Christmas. So when's that going to end? Because the thing that's never talked about, or rarely talked about, is the stress on the families when someone's deployed. I mean, if you watch my documentary on Afghanistan, I interviewed all these people. One of the people I interviewed was this woman who was a Marine who had like kids back home. I remember being in Afghanistan in 2007, and Bush had just extended deployments from 12 to 14 months. And somebody was like 14. He goes, now I'm missing 2 birthdays. You know, it's like 14 months. It is so stressful on the families. And then the person comes back from deployment and they've been in a war zone for the last year. And it's hard. Domestic violence goes up, drug use goes up. And if they've got PTSD combined sometimes with TBI, traumatic brain injury, it all compounds it. So all of that is why we need to be done with war. And if we cut our military budget in half, we would still be outspending China by $200 billion a year. We need to start spending money on our own citizens. We need to end these tent cities that have only gotten bigger during the pandemic and end all these ridiculous wars and start being the country that advocates for peace, rather than we have 800 military bases around the world. We're bombing 6, 7 countries right now. We're sanctioning countries, all for natural resources and oil and pipelines and the petrodollar and all this other nonsense. That needs to stop. So let's hope that it does. Thank you for supporting our show, everybody. Like, share, subscribe. We've been demonetized by YouTube. So get bonus content at patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockman.com/Graham Elwood. And we'll be back in the fancy studio soon, as soon as I get my internet set back up. Shaping up this process. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button. Go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood and rockman.com/Graham Elwood, where you can support the show. Also, I have a Bitcoin wallet, a Bitcoin Cash wallet, and an Ethereum wallet in the show notes. We're taking cryptocurrency. I have a Coinbase affiliation link. We're going to be getting on some other exchanges. So that's how you support the show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. YouTube is unsubscribing us at an alarming rate. I have a PayPal button at GrahamElwood.com. I even have a Venmo at Graham-Elwood. There's a lot of ways to support our show. We are getting crushed by YouTube. We've dipped under 73,000 subscribers because of YouTube. Thanks for supporting what we do.